Hey there, and welcome to U-Talk. It's a program dedicated to diversity, highlighting native-born and new Canadians' cultures and experiences. With the ongoing pandemic, we've seen an increase in racism and hate crimes against Asians, with horrific stories coming out of the US. And during 2019 and 2020, at the onset of COVID-19, over 600 incidents of anti-Asian racism was reported to the EliminateHate.org and covidracisim.ca. On March 27th, a Stop Asian Hate rally took place in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I spoke with Asian Heritage Society of Manitoba board member Jié Yang about the rally and the increase in anti-Asian racism.
A couple of years ago, a friend of mine who was on the board invited me to see what it was about, and I really enjoyed the unity between all the Asian communities in Manitoba. I want to help continue improving that, and also bring more awareness to Asian Canadian issues and culture and heritage as well.
And yeah, so the big thing to talk about, unfortunately, is, the rise in Asian hate, racism against Asian communities. And there was a rally that took place March 26th. So how did that rally go? And I guess, why did the Asian Heritage Society of Manitoba want to support this rally?
The event went really well. It was a success, in my opinion. It was a drive-by protest, so we weren't allowed, or we're following social gathering laws by not gathering as a normal protest or rally would be. We were in our cars and we drove around a path from the Forks all the way to Waterfront Drive, and we had 150 cars go through. And it was really nice seeing people from all backgrounds and Winnipeg showing support. And it was very emotional for some Asian people, because, including myself, because after witnessing everything happening in the United States, particularly the Atlanta mass shooting, and also some parts of Canada, it was really nice to see that support, and that there are people who want to hear our voices and be allies as well.
I saw that your group posted some stats on there during the COVID-19 anti-Asian racism in Canada. 600 plus incidents. This is incredibly unfortunate, seeing this kind of people turn against each other.
Yeah, and those statistics were documented in June, and according to the newest report in February, there's a bit over 1,000 incidents in Canada. So it's very unfortunate that what's going on in society.
So, how can our communities come together to, help fight this? I know rallies and protests like this are a great way to, start the conversation. But how do we continue that? How do we take action?
The first thing is when someone speaks about them being a victim of racism, or the community being a victim of racism, we need the other person, regardless of background, to just listen first and listen to understand, rather than listen to respond or I guess debunk anything. Just listen and see what our communities are going through. And then once there's a better understanding of what our community is going through, then people will I'm not sure what that word is called, but there'll be a motivation or a call to action to speak out against racism, and also be an ally for our community as well. And also another thing that's very important is we need our politicians and leaders to denounce racism in general, and also making note that anyone committing racism or any other hate crimes, that they will be accountable for them and also punished as well.
We just need to continue those conversations, work as a community. Clearly this stuff was, under the floorboards before and just kind of rose during COVID. So yeah, we need to kind of nip this in the bud, take racism down to the root and get rid of it.
No, it isn't. Because in this society we live in, we have a lot of other systemic issues already, and we don't need racism to interfere in improving a society in general.
Hmm. And like Asian communities, they have such a vibrant and rich culture. All the different regions. It's always fun and fascinating to learn about the culture of Asia. So how about we talk a little bit more about your organization, what you do, and the communities that are all a part of it.
What we do is we basically organize and sell. We basically organize events for Asian Heritage Month of May, and we put on multiple small events. So we'll have performances, we'll have high school symposiums, we have film nights as well, and also during that month, all our activities and programming is meant to help acknowledge the contributions of Asian Canadians to Canadian society through the arts and culture and heritage. And on our board, we have people from all backgrounds of Asia, consisting of Japanese, Chinese, Indian, Sri Lankan, Vietnamese, Korean, Filipino, Syrian, Singaporean, and Malaysian. And our organization is open to individuals from East Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia, and West Asia as well.
Yeah. So how about tell me a little bit about the programming and some of the events that you've hosted in the past.
Well, in the past, before the pandemic, one of our most popular events is the Asian Canadian Festival at the Forks. And we usually have people performing under the canopy from all different Asian backgrounds. And another event we would have is also the high school symposium. So we'd go to high schools and we would talk about Asian and Canadian history. And also, we do have some workshops on that day as well, workshops on other Asian activities. And also, we do have a Asian film night as well every year. And we do have panel discussions at the Human Rights Museum as well. And I'm trying to think what else we do. That's for the most part. That's what we're known for.
I mean, the film night sounds like a lot of fun. That's definitely something that I would love to go to once this whole COVID situation is behind us.
Well, actually, this year we have an anti-Asian racism film contest that we have opened up where people in Manitoba, whether they're a social media influencer or a filmmaker, they can make a video discussing why racism is not acceptable, and the winners will actually win money. So there's two categories. There's one category for the youth, so anybody under 18, and then we have the 18 plus where it's for adults. And the best films will be shown on our Asian film night at the end of May.
Oh, that's super exciting. So
Yeah.
when is kind of the deadline for this?
Well, the original deadline is April 1st, and I understand that especially with what's going on recently, I'm sure lots of people want to make more content. So I may have to extend the deadline to potentially April 20th.
April 20th.
Just so everyone gets a chance to work on their films. Because I understand working on films is not an easy task at all.
Yeah, the video editing, getting the production all in order.
At the same time, it'd be nice to have just really candid videos too, because if their film is not high end or high budget and it's still like shows a powerful message, then hey, then that can win the contest as well. So I don't want to. I want to encourage everyone to give it a try.
Yeah, so anyone can kind of participate as long as you can share that message out there.
Exactly.
Where can people find more information about taking part in this initiative?
Well, if they go to AsianHeritageManitoba.com, we'll have all our information there. And also we're on Facebook, and if you type in Asian Heritage Society of Manitoba, we're there. And also for Instagram, we're at Asian Heritage Manitoba.
What kind of spurred this initiative and contest? What made the the board want to pursue this?
Well, the thing is, like, I especially this past year with racism related to the pandemic, there's a lot of Asian Canadians, or just anyone in Canada in general, um, witnessed or heard about a lot of racism, and I really believe that especially in this day and age, there shouldn't be racism at all. And and if we can create films to help bring awareness and educate people, then I think everyone's society can benefit from it.
You have this film night where you're going to showcase the films coming up in May. What are some of the other things that the organization is hoping to get to as restrictions continue to ease?
Well, this year all our events are virtual based, just like any other organizations out there. So during Asian Heritage Month in May, we'll be displaying Asian showcases every couple of days. So we'll have videos from every Asian culture participate. And I haven't got full details on the high school symposium yet, but there will be programming sent to some of the high schools out there. And and I mentioned, yeah, we're gonna have a virtual Asian film festival as well. And that's what we have so far. There could be a few more things coming up, but that's what we have planned.
Why is it important to get those high school students involved?
Well, I'm sure you heard this before. When it comes to identity and racism issues, it's all taught, or it's all we don't. No one is born with perceptions. They're learned, experienced, and taught. So if we can talk to students about what's going on in the Asian Canadian community. And also, there are other Asian Canadian students that may not feel that topics of Asian Canadian history may not be fully covered, even though I understand there is a curriculum out there. But there are some parts of history that may not have been mentioned in the regular curriculum that I think is important for some students to learn about.
And I guess it'd be very important to mention right now, if someone does experience racism or hate like this, where should they be, going, if they're experiencing this?
Well, we do have an instant reporting survey on our website. So if they go to, asianheritagemanitoba.com, we do have an instant reporting system. Right now, it's currently in English, but we are going to get translations to have in different languages so it's more accessible for certain people in our community.
Yeah, kind of like report that as soon as possible. Don't continue to let it fester.
Yeah, yeah, because we have to speak. We have to speak up. If we don't speak up, then there are people who will not understand or know that what's going on. Because, like I would say, fortunately in Manitoba, pandemic-related racism is a lot lower compared to the United States and Canada. There's been mostly um, verbal abuse and racist remarks and vandalism. There hasn't been violent forms of racism in Manitoba, and I'm really glad because a lot of stuff that I see out there that's happening in the United States and other parts of the country, it can be very traumatizing for a lot of people in Manitoba to see, and we don't want that to ever spill over here.
Yeah, like it can be scary and traumatizing, and experiences like that, can continue to create a divide between different communities.
Yeah, yeah, it's a very unnecessary divide because at the end of the day, we're all trying to survive here and be contributing members, and it's really it can be very hurtful when you're because everyone else, I understand everyone else during the pandemic is stressed out and overwhelmed, and there's lots of issues. But with the Asian Canadians, we have those issues too. But then we also get we have to deal with racism, and that's just another dimension of just being overwhelmed during this pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, we're in this together. We gotta work together, not divide each other.
Oh, totally, and it's crazy how when we have accessibility to all this technology with all this information, and unfortunately, we're still divided, and it's really unfortunate.
And there's so much we can learn from each other. Like different cultures have different experiences that like you can learn and apply to your own life.
Yeah, Yeah, actually, that's why I actually enjoy looking at your guys' social media and website because you do interview people from all walks of life and diverse cultures. So I think it's really awesome, and we actually shared a couple of your
Oh,
guys'
thank you.
posts. So I think what your organization is doing is amazing, and you're helping with that as well.
Yeah, it's a whole symbiotic community. We gotta help each other out and promote each other, because you know, diversity is beautiful.
Oh, it totally is, and I wish more people could see the beauty of that. But unfortunately, we have to deal with what we have, and we have to try to find ways to improve the situation. Because like personally for myself, I from what I've seen in the United States of what's going on, there are a lot of Asian senior citizens walking around the streets and being attacked unprovokingly, and I sometimes worry when my senior parents tell me that when they're going to the grocery store, I'm thinking, oh, you have to be careful and such a, so it's very stressful for myself and other people as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, and because anything can happen, and especially if they're at that age, and if they get knocked down or pushed down, anything can happen, and then they have to go to the hospital, and then it's just a stressful situation for many people.
Hmm.
But again, like I said early on, I'm glad Manitoba does not have violent racism happening
Hmm.
here.
So yeah, we've talked a little bit about, you know, the increase in hate crimes due to the pandemic and the stresses that have been involved, and you know, the increase in both the United States and Canada. What are some other things that the Heritage Society of Manitoba is, you know, actively addressing?
Basically, we like to share and spread awareness on information about it. So if there's organizations that want to get a message across, we're more than happy to share it. And during our high school symposium, we do talk about Asian and Canadian history and why the things in the past are not acceptable. So that's our role right now. And I do believe in the more programming we have, and when the public sees it, it just shows that we're all Canadians here, and we just want to be just like everyone else and participate in and contribute to society and just normalize. Because it's unfortunate there's people who don't view Asian Canadians as equals, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that that behavior. Yeah, we need to get rid of it.
Yeah, and I remember reading an article, and there was a survey done with Manitoba healthcare workers where they mentioned 1 out of 5 Manitoba healthcare workers that identified as Asian heritage were witnessed and experienced racism at the workplace. And it's quite ironic because if I was a patient or somebody like that and someone's trying to help me or save my life, why would I mistreat them based on their skin color and their ethnic background? So it's really frustrating when you hear stuff about like that.
As a Caucasian, it's really hard to empathize because or sympathize because you know we've never experienced things like that. So it's really hard to get into that mindset of, you know, what that must feel like and the mental toll that racism has on people of you know, minority communities.
Yeah, and also this got me thinking a bit more about other ethnic groups racism as well, because we hear a lot about, especially in Canada, how the Indigenous communities and the Black communities have their own forms of racism that they have to deal with, and I've always heard the narrative that, oh, why can't these communities do this, improve this, and I understand that with the way colonialism has happened, it's not that simple. And sometimes Asian people are used as a mild minority to say, hey, if they can go to school, work hard, and do all this, why can't you guys? It will treat you better if. But Asian people do value education a lot, and most of us are doing well in their career. Some of us are doing well in their careers, but why are we still dealing with racism? So it just shows that racism, no matter how conditional it is, it's or conditional sounding it is, it's never about what you do. It's about who you are, and unfortunately, it still sticks in. And I really feel bad for other communities too when I see that the Asian community, even though they've been set aside as a minority, they're still being mistreated. So if these communities were to become the minority, things won't change at all. Still,
Yeah, in terms of hate, they're always trying to pit everyone against each other so that no one can fight against it unified. You mentioned a couple of other things that you're kind of planning in the future. What's kind of the long-term goals and projects that the Asian Heritage Society is hoping to do in the next 5 years or something like that?
well, to be honest, there's a lot of uncertainty because of the pandemic. Honestly, I wish that by next year we can do live events again, and there'll be a lot more engagement and dialogue with the rest of the communities. But right now, we can just focus on our virtual events at the moment.
Yeah, kind of take it day by day, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Makes sense. How can people get involved? In what ways is the Asian Heritage Society looking for people to help out?
Well, on our website, we do have a form where you can contact us to join or participate in our organization. So we're always looking for volunteers to help us. Particularly with the Zoom events, we may need people to help us with video editing and camera operating. Another thing that we haven't posted this yet, but I am looking for someone to help out with the social media as well, because we want someone who's more well versed in using TikTok and Snapchat to help us out. There's that, and yeah, and at the same time, we're open to people who have the expertise, who wants to share it with our community and be able to share it, and hopefully other people in our community will find it useful. So there's always room for that.
Yeah, I mean, this whole film contest will be a great opportunity to find some of the skilled people within the community.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that want to get into the film world. It's just we have to give people platforms so they have a chance to showcase what their skills and vision are.
Fantastic.
And then that's what our organization is here for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nothing else from mine except that Asian Heritage Month is happening in May, and if you go to our websites and our social media, there'll be virtual programming during that month, and we still have programming during the year, but it's mostly in May. So if anyone wants to look, just come visit our website. Actually, one more thing to mention is I'd like to shout out and thank Jennifer Chen for organizing the Stop Asian Hate Rally. A lot of Asian Manitobans really appreciate her hard work the last couple of years, and all her activism as well.
Of course. Thank you, Jennifer. If you have any stories you'd like us to share or communities we should highlight, leave a comment on our social media or reach out to us on our website. I'm Ryan Funk. This was U Talk, and have yourself a good one.